Hello guys, welcome to this webinar. Today I'm going to talk about two things. First one, what's shown on this slide here. See, it says life lessons. These are things that we learn as we going along, and maybe at some time we think, wish I would have known this earlier. And these are things that we can pass on to our children, we can pass on to other people. And we learn these lessons from experience. It's not things that are taught to us in school. These are the things that come along to us just by in your normal living life, things that happen to you. Where do we go when we first start out? We go to school and college and university and we learn certain things. What's the purpose of doing that? What's the reason why we do that? We do that in this system that we have so that we can get educated to do what? To find a job. The whole system is geared for that purpose. But as we know, especially here, living now in South Africa in these current times, that system doesn't work for us anymore. Doesn't matter what education you get and how much you learn through the education system that's designed to feed the system itself, educates people to service the needs of the system. But when the system can't deliver and give the people what it promised, then things go badly wrong. And we all know that now. We've got massive unemployment throughout the whole country. It's a huge issue. It causes a lot of trouble and it can continue doing so. So this is one of the life lessons that we learn. You can't rely on your qualifications and you can't rely on your education system to guarantee your income in a job, because if there are not enough jobs, what's going to happen? So there's no other provision, there's no safety net built into that system. And that's why life teaches us that we have to do something completely different, and we mustn't get our education and our qualifications mixed up with our income. They're two totally different things. There are many, many very well-educated people that are broke, lots and lots. And there are many, many uneducated people that are very wealthy. So these two things are quite different. And we have to get into a mindset whereby we do not rely on a single income source for our future, because there's a very, very good chance that we will become disappointed and we will learn another life lesson. So this webinar today is to show you how to get over this and to get some kind of guarantee into your life whereby it doesn't really matter what goes on out there in the main system. You've always got something else that can sustain you, irrespective of your background or where you came from or what your education level is. I heard something quite interesting a while ago. I don't know those of you that are sort of musically oriented, but I think you all know the rock band called Queen, very famous all around the world. The guitarist in that group is called May, the one with all the curly long hair. Okay. Now he, in the education system, he's a very, very highly educated person. He's has a PhD in astrophysics, a PhD in astrophysics from Oxford University. Now, he went into that program because he had the aptitude for being a scientist, but he also enjoyed music. And eventually he opted for the thing that he enjoyed more than the thing that he was educated in. and he became a member of one of the world's most famous pop groups and became a mega millionaire from doing that, doing the thing that he enjoyed doing the most. So he still dabbles in astrophysics because he's qualified to do that, but he never relied on it for his income. That's a great example of someone that learned that life lesson very early and was very successful at following the thing that he wanted to do and not the thing that he was educated to do. Now, we all come into this arena of network marketing for our own different reasons, but there is an underlying reason, is that we're looking for a way to make an extra income. Why? Because our normal educated, systemized job structure cannot be relied on. That's why we do this. Here's my example. You see this building here. Okay, now my background is architecture, and I run my offices in Amanzimtoti for 25 years. This is one of the buildings that I designed. See, this big block of flats here. I did this in 1990, and there it is, all standing up. Still there, one of the nicest buildings in the town. Let us look at the history of this and what it took to make it stand here. So it took 2 years for a group of people to get the rezoning for this property. 2 years with attorneys and planners and to get the zoning. It took another year to enable the old building to get knocked down. It took a year to get the plans approved. That's 5 years. And it took 1.5 years to build it. That's 6.5 years. And there it is, done and finished. But it took 6.5 years from somebody having the idea to develop that property to seeing it finished in the way that it is, 6.5 years. But let's look at my role in that. When I received the brief to design a building on this property, it took 4 months to formulate that brief within the conditions that have been set by the town planning department. 4 months. And then it took me another 4 months to design the building. It's 8 months to design that building. And then it took another 4 months to get the building plans approved. That's 1 year. From having the idea that was in my mind to having a set of plans approved. This is turning an idea, which is an abstract thing, nobody can see it because it's in your mind, to turning that idea into a sketch on a piece of paper, which starts to make it physical. And then doing all the processes that are required to turn that piece of paper sketch into a building plan that everyone can see and that can be assessed, and then turning that into a physical building like this. So that process took more than 1 year, 1.5 years from the idea to having a set of building plans approved, and then it took another 1.5 years to build this building. Why am I talking about this? Because you need to understand the value of what we do. The value of what we do in the process that we're now working with. That's got nothing to do with building. It's got nothing to do with building a building, but it has got something to do with building a business. Because what we're doing now is we're building a business. And that came from the idea in each of us. It came from the idea that we need to do something. We need to do something extra because at some level, we're not happy with the amount of income that we're getting or the security of that income or the ability of that income to continue sustaining us over a long period of time in the event that that life deals with any of the curveballs that come along from time to time. You know, people could lose their job. You could get made redundant. Your company could close down. You could get sick. You could get retrenched. You can retire. All of those issues. And as they come along, what do you do? So this idea formulates in our mind as an idea, and then we start looking for something to do, and then we find that something, and then we start building. So what we're talking about now is not building a block of flats. We're talking about building an income. Okay. So this is interesting. Now we've found our vehicle. We've found the thing that we want to work with and the thing that we want to build into a big business. So where do we start? We start in the same place that we would start with a building, like a block of flats. We start with a plan of action, making a plan of action. What are we going to do? What do we have to do to build the first thing, which is a foundation? That block of flats required a huge concrete foundation. You know, it took 3 months to get the foundation built with a whole team of people and engineers and contractors and so on. 3 months. Now, we don't need to do that, but what if we dedicate 3 months, the same 3 months, to building our foundation? And what is our foundation? Our foundation is what's shown on this slide right here. So see that little black dot there? Let us say that's you. Okay, that's you right there. And in our Meishi Dreams business building program, what do we have to do to build a foundation? We have to start by building a base of 2 subscriptions to stand on. This is like setting out the foundation of your building, digging the trench. This is your personal work now. Get the spade out, we dig the trench. We're going to talk to people, and we're going to build a foundation that has 2 subscriptions, 1, 2. Those 2 subscriptions, what are they doing? They're sustaining you like that. See, there's you, and there's your 2 subscriptions. Now, that's not going to fully sustain you, because in our system, that's going to bring you about $5 to $6 of commission. Your subscription is how much? It's $10. And if you're on a $15 plan, it's $15. So these first 2 subscriptions, they're not going to sustain your building, but they're forming the parts and the start of your foundation for your building. So what's your next activity that you have to do? You have to strengthen your foundation. And how are you going to strengthen your foundation? There's 2 ways you can do that. You can continue digging your trench, and you can continue doing more personal subscriptions for yourself, because in the binary structure, the 3rd one will spill over and it will connect into the outer leg of your first one. And your 4th one in the binary structure will spill over and it will fill the outer leg of your 2nd one in your basic foundation. So if you continue doing that work yourself, you're partially going to strengthen your foundation. So let us say that 4 people come into your organization. Your first 2, which partially sustains you, and the next 2, which spill over and partially sustain them. What does it do to you? It gives you another binary pair. And in our program, 2 binary pairs is going to give you $10. $10 will sustain your building. $10 will sustain your building forever. Now, let us say you spend 3 months on building this foundation, just the same as a massive crew of people took 3 months to prepare the foundation for that block of flats. This is not difficult to do, but allocate the time and understand the process that you're in building your foundation. What's shown on this slide is everything that you need to do. You don't actually need to do any more than it is shown on this slide. This is your whole building process for your foundation right here. But let's take a closer look. If you continued subscribing new people, they're always going to spill over on the outer legs of your binary. They're never going to spill over and fill the inner legs of your binary. The binary doesn't take them there. So what do you have to do? You got to sustain not only yourself, but you have to sustain your team. So your first two subscriptions here, 1, 2, what are they doing? They're building their own binary. But you've got to assist them in doing that. And the best way that you can assist them in doing that is to get your spade out again and start digging another trench and look at 2 more subscriptions. Now, these next 2 subscriptions, you're not going to log in and register on your login number, on your reference, on your link. You're not going to do that, because if you do that, they will spill over again on the outside legs. What you have to do, and this is called team building now. It's not you building your own foundation. It's you being part of a team and looking at where is the best place for me to place these new people. And the best place to locate your new people is on the inner leg when they've got an outside leg that's come to them for free as a spillover, okay? You need to help them build on the inner leg. So what do you do with the next one? You're going to register your next one on the link, registration link of your first 2 people. You're going to give those next 2 to your first 2 people as if they had registered them themselves, okay? So once you do that, what's going to happen? It's going to generate another pair for you that's going to put you in profit immediately, but it's also going to assist your first 2 subscriptions. And your job as a business builder, you don't only want to build a foundation, you want to build the first floor, you want to build the second floor, you want to build the third floor. That building had 13 floors. You need to build 13 floors. In our binary here, we need to build 10 floors. Okay, 10 floors. The $10 subscription will build 10 floors. Yeah. Here's your first floor. Here's your second floor. This is your building program. Now we've almost finished with the foundation. We have to do a little bit more. We have to make sure by working together with your first 2 subscriptions that they do their first 2 subscriptions. So this is a change of direction for you. You now have to apply your people skills. You now have to understand that this is a team. A single person could not have built the foundation of that block of flats. It required a team. It required a very, very large team of contractors, engineers, professional people, laborers on site, artisans, to build that foundation in 3 months. You can build this foundation in 3 months in a very simple way by working with your first 2 subscriptions and assisting them to do their first 2. Now, in this scenario that I've painted, where you actually gave 2 subscriptions that you did to these guys, that looks like it's going to service their needs, but it isn't. It's built your foundation, but it hasn't built their foundation, because they have to do 2 personal subscriptions to activate their commission. At the moment on this diagram, they've only done 1. They did the one that you gave them here. the first one that spilled over down the leg was recorded on your name, so it does not count as a personal registration for that person. They need personal registration, okay? So you need to work with them until they do their second one. Once they do their second one, guess what? Then they're qualified to receive commission. And what does it do for you? It starts the building of your first floor of your block of flats. That's being done by your team. It's not being done by you now. It's being done by your team. You're building the foundation. And if you continue building your foundation until it's built, now it doesn't matter how long it takes, because you cannot build your block of flats on an incomplete foundation. You need to continue building your foundation, listen, until it's built. Yeah. So many times I see people giving up when they're so close to completing their foundation. So in this scenario, I'm going to recap what we've spoken about. Come on board, you understand the plan of action, your work schedule. Your work schedule is get busy and do your first 2 subscriptions. And the work schedule of those people is to get busy and do their first 2 subscriptions. If you want to assist them in doing that, you can do additional subscriptions in your name, and that will spill over to them on the outer leg, 1, 2, 1, 2. Or you can register any new people on the registration link of your first 2. If you do that, then that will help your first 2 to qualify for their commission. And they'll be very happy if you do that. So whichever way you do it, this is what your workload is right here. This is building the foundation for your building, for your block of flats. It's the foundation for your business. What's on this screen here? So you need to look at your binary. You need to look at the legs in your binary. You have to see whether this is complete. If it's not complete, then you know where you have to be working. You have to work in the one that's incomplete. On this diagram, you see that one on the inner leg of MG. That one is incomplete. It's vacant, it's open. So what would you do? Let us say MG has given up, not working. Some people give up. But the rule about giving up is if you give up, you're never going to finish. You're never, ever going to get your block of flats. Now, the reason that you came here is to get your block of flats. Don't lose sight of your reason, okay? Now and then life will throw you a curveball. Obstacles will come in your way. Life always brings obstacles. Life is not easy. We know that. So you have to understand that, and you have to be aware that the reward that will come to you from building this foundation will be far, far greater and more important to you than the obstacle that's in your way. That's why you have to get over it. And in this instance, it's easy to get over obstacles. You just have to repeat the thing that you've already learned and continue. And you do it until it's done. Okay. So what would the next job of you there as that black leader, what would be the next job that you do? You would need to go out and get your spade out, dig another hole, and talk to a few more people and bring another subscription. And then you would have to place that new subscription here in the right leg of MG. And you can do that by adjusting the setting in your binary profile. You just adjust it from balanced to right. And when that subscription is done, it will automatically fill that spot there. And once you've done that, your foundation is complete. Now you can start working on your top story, on your first floor, second floor, third floor. Because we're building how many? 10 floors. How long is it going to take? It's not going to take you 4.5 years. Imagine however long it took you to develop this foundation, and assume that each of these people will take the same amount of time to build their foundation. Now, these first two, they've already got a good start because you helped them. And if these first two help their people in the exact same way, then building their foundation will take about the same time as it took you to build your foundation. And automatically, while they're building their foundation, that's your team, your construction team, they are building your first floor of your block of flats. See, you have a team, you have a construction team, and your construction team is growing every time you make new subscriptions, and every time they make new subscriptions, your construction team is growing. But they all have to do the same thing. None of them are busy building your first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor, fifth floor. They're only busy building their own foundation. Exactly what's on this chart right here. That's all they're going to do. It's all you need to do. It's all anybody needs to do, what's shown on this one page right here. So how many is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 subscriptions. Now, how long will it take to develop your 2 and for them to develop their 2? Now, that could happen in a week, could happen in a month, could happen in 3 months. So like that building, that block of flats, allocate 3 months to do this. Where is it going to lead? It's going to lead month by month, steadily month by month, with each person building their foundation. And by the time 1 year goes by, you're going to see a whole structure developed here that's equivalent to that whole block of flats. And the team that's building it is continuing. The difference between building this business and building that block of flats is when that block of flats was finished, the team disappeared. They went off and worked somewhere else on another project. The difference here is that they're still here. They're never going to disappear. They're just going to grow and grow and grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger. That's the beauty of this. So this is a life lesson. The lesson is start building your foundation. Nothing will develop until you have a strong foundation. And that applies to every single thing you do in your life. It's not only about this business. It's not only about structural buildings. It's about every single thing that you do. To do it right, you have to focus on the foundation. And once the foundation is done, anything can be built on top of that because the foundation will sustain it. So don't rely on the things that everybody around you rely on. How many people do you know that are employed, that have reasonably good jobs, that have reasonably good salaries, but they're broke? How many? You know, count them. Lots of them. Almost everybody that you know is like that. So when will they learn their life lesson? Eventually, it will come to every single person that what they're doing is not going to sustain them. And this is the beauty of having something available to us like the Dreams program, the Meishi Dreams program, because we know that this can sustain us. And if we build a foundation and we teach other people to build their foundation, that will give us a continuous growing income. And then you can have this. It would be nice to own something like that. It would be nice to live in something like that. It would be nice to do all of the things that you want to do, but you cannot afford to do, and that you don't have the time to do because the thing that is holding you back, income-wise and time-wise, is the very, very thing that you're clinging onto as being your salvation when it is not going to be so. You have to understand that to do all of these kind of things and all of the other kind of things that you want to know, life's lesson teaches us that if we continue doing the exact same things that we did for the last 10 years, and those things didn't give us what we want, why should we continue doing those same things for the next 10 years? It's not going to get a different outcome. It's not going to get a different result. So in this program, understand what we have to do. We have to build a foundation, and we have to teach other people to build a foundation. That's our total activity. That foundation consists of 6 subscriptions. A couple done by you, a couple done by them. 6 subscriptions for each person will build this block of flats. The time frame is different for everybody. Some people will do very quickly, some people will do very slowly. It's irrelevant. If you do it and build a foundation, it will continue and it will come into fruition. The idea will change into something physical. And that physical will be US dollars flowing into your bank account every single month. US dollars flowing into your bank account every single month by focusing on building a foundation of 6 and teaching your first 2 people to do the exact same thing. That's the lesson for today. So what we should do now is forget all of the things that we thought we should be doing. Forget all of the things that we believed were the right things to do, but haven't given us the result that we want. Refocus on the things that will give us the result that we need. Okay, building the foundation. And make a goal. What's the difference between a goal and a wish? You know, I wish I was this, I wish I was that. No, a goal is a time frame. Set a time frame on an outcome. Say, I want to build my foundation in the next 4 weeks, or the next 6 weeks, or the next 1 week, or the next 3 months, whatever. Your time frame is in accordance with the time that's available to you in all of the mess that's all around you and all the things that are eating your time up right now. You have to weave your way through that, and you have to set your own time frame that's appropriate for you. And you have to build your foundation in that time frame. And forget all of the other stuff. Contact people, send them your link. Talk to people, send them your link. Talk to your friends, send them your link. Use the recordings. Quite often people don't have time to come to presentations. They don't have time because their life doesn't have the time available anymore because of what they do. They know they need to change it, but they don't have the time to do the things to make it change. That's part of the trap. So you have to change that, get them out of that, okay? That's why we have recordings of everything. So if someone can't come to a presentation, what do? Send them a recording. All of the people you've spoken to who never came to a presentation, send them a recording, yeah? And ask them some questions, have you thought about where your financial future is going? Are you going to be able to do this and this and this and this, the things that they want to do? If you don't ask the question, sometimes they don't think about it, but ask the question and refocus and do the things that's necessary in the time frame that you've got to develop your foundation. and teach the other guys to do the same thing. This is your plan of action. You turn the wishes into goals by putting an objective, an outcome, and setting a time frame. So what if you miss your time frame? Is that important? Not really. If you say, I'm going to do this, and you make a plan of action and you talk to 20 people and only 2 of them come along, is that important? No, it's not important. It's a start. It's a partial build of your foundation. But you don't give up then. You continue. And you work with those 2 people because they've got friends, they've got relatives, they've got family people, they've got connections. And absolutely sure, 100% guaranteed, they will do that. They came into this program for that purpose, they will build there too. If you've got more people and you dedicate more time and so on, then you can assist with more and you can disperse more to help the people who don't have the time. The reason why people take a long time is because they don't have the time to do the things that are needed to be done. Okay? So refocus. Don't stop doing the things that are not giving you your results and start doing things that will give you your results. 10 years from now, you don't want to look back and find you've got less money in your bank than you have now. My question is, do you have more money in your bank now than you had 10 years ago? For most people, the answer is no, which is a very powerful indicator of we need to make some changes, okay? So take this lesson, take it as a life lesson, take this training as guidance, and really understand the very small thing that we have to do to build that foundation that will build this block of flats, okay, for you. Thanks, guys. That's all I'm going to talk about today. And I want you to pass this on to other people in your team at the right time. I'm going to record this. I don't want you to give this to anybody. I want you to keep this. And as your guys are coming on board, once they're actually part of your group, then you can show them this. Before this, all you're going to show them is recordings of presentations, recordings of events that we post into the group that are appropriate for bringing a person up who is interested in making that change in their lives, bringing them into the group. And you can place them wherever you want in terms of building your own foundation. So, okay, guys, I'm going to close down now. I'll make this recording and I'll post it in the group later today. Thank you. Have a great weekend.